Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. We're doing golf this week. The FedEx Cup is in leg 2 of the playoffs. We will be down to the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings. So if anybody's confused, like if the top 50 in FedEx St. Jude advance, that's not right. They get, and I went on a rant on Twitter about this. I don't like the way they do the points for these playoff events. It's 4 times the points. So if you're telling me that Lucas Glover say he played absolute, which he wasn't great all year long until this new putter deal. I mean, he had some pretty decent finishes along the way, but he got caught lightning in the bottle the last 2 weeks, won the Wyndham, and he's in position to win today. And if he were to win today, he'd be third in the FedEx Cup, right behind Rahm and Scotty Scheffler, who won multiple times. Rahm won the Masters. Scotty won the Players. These guys win and top 10 every freaking week. And you're telling me a guy wins 2 golf tournaments back to back and he's instantly as good as they are, or he has the same opportunity. It doesn't work for me. I think what they need to do is dial back the amount of points. If you want to give more points for these events like this week and next week, then don't do 4 times and make it 2 freaking thousand points. Make it 2 times for 1,000 or something like that, or 1.5, maybe 750, make it 800. Do some kind of aggregate 1.25%, 1.4%. It doesn't work with 4 times the freaking points. Enough said. Let's get on with it. So this course we're heading to is Olympia Fields in Illinois for the BMW Championship. It was played there at the same event in 2020 where Jon Rahm won at a meager 4 under par. So imagine this. It's going to be the toughest setup they may have had, even including the majors all year long. It might be the lowest scoring event all year long. Be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be double digits unless they get some soft conditions. So we'll have to see. I do have a little snippet on the weather. I'll show you in a few minutes. But anyway, this is going to be a course we don't see every year. It's going to be more important to examine the course layout. So that's what we're going to do. And then also I ask you, please subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Leave me a comment and tell me who you think is going to take it this week. Do you think Rahm gets his stuff together and figures it out off the tee in time, or is he going to fail? Let me know. Let's get started. Okay, to start things off, like I said, we're going to take a quick look at next week's weather. I took this shot yesterday, so it's just an advanced I like to see what it might do. It's just a 10-day forecast. So basically what it looks like is there might be some rain and some wind in play for the beginning of the week, like the Thursday round, especially right now, but that can change obviously to some degree, whether it hits on Wednesday, whether it hits on Thursday afternoon instead of overnight. We'll have to see. That's just something to monitor. So what we're going to do now is go through the flyover and check out the golf course. And so I'm going to go through almost every single hole on the flyover if you're watching it on YouTube. So check it out. Olympia Fields is a 7,366-yard par 70, another par 70 course. Classical golf course. Fairways and greens are bent POA mix. The 4-inch rough is Kentucky bluegrass. The greens are relatively small to average. They're about 5,200 square feet, average-ish. But they will run firm and fast as long as we don't get 5 inches of rain like we did in St. Jude. This course in St. Jude should have played a lot harder. But anyway, as I digress, we're also going to feature severe contouring in these greens. I'd say the pitch is be about 12.5 on the stimp. Little to no water in play, as you can see, and it's mostly straight ahead. It does have some dog legs, but they're mostly snake type holes where the fairways just kind of snake around, and they're not very wide. I didn't get the exact number on how wide they are, but I would guesstimate them as wide as what we've seen in some of these like Colonial, 29, 32 yards wide at the most. So on the smaller side as far as width of fairway goes. tree lined, offering a challenge off the tee. Most of the course is straightforward, as you can see. The first hole is one of the two par fives, and the easiest birdie hole. That and number 15 are both the par fives. They're very long. I believe they'll play over 600. I got the 15th playing at 581 off the Pro Visualizer, but I'll show you this in a minute, but back in 2020, I believe it played about 606. It played longer. And they'll move the tee boxes around, I'm sure. So one day it might play 581, and then another day it might play 600. So, but I do believe they're going to be 3-shot holes for most people. I think most are going to have to lay up because their fairways are so difficult to hit. Also, holes 3, 5, and 12 caused major issues back in 2020 for players, and especially the 500-yard par 418th. That hole caused 85 bogeys and 12 doubles. So you're already knowing that it's going to be crucial to play it safe coming home. So that thing can change everything. So anyway, there were only 2 holes other than the 2 par fives that even played a smidge under par for the week. So judging from 2020, it appears not much laying up took place because most everybody averaged almost 300 yards off the tee. So I think they all figured, well, we're not going to hit the fairway anyway. The further down you get, the better off you are. As long as you're in the right spot, as long as you avoid tree trouble, the 4-inch rough, Kentucky bluegrass rough is not going to be that bad. You can see where all these trees are. Grass doesn't grow that high around trees if you know anything about grass because trees have shade. But anyway, I'm digressing again. So fairways, I think, were firm and had lots of run out due to the hot part of the summer and up in Illinois. That's just a guess. I didn't really go back and look at what the weather was. But if you do recall, this was the site of the epic battle, one of the best finishing golf tournaments we've had. Jon Rahm and Dustin Johnson both tied at 4 under and went to a playoff. And Rahm, they both had long putts. And Rahm sunk something like a 50 to 60 foot left to right breaker on that difficult 18th hole to win the golf tournament. So anyway, looking at the breakdown on how the holes played, stats wise, you can see how difficult it played. This is off ESPN. I pulled this and put it together for you. So basically you can look through and see how many birdies, bogeys, doubles, pars, all that stuff made. So this would benefit everybody just to know kind of how things went and where the scoring hole. Obviously the par fives are the scoring holes. You must get all the birdies you can possibly get off these par fives because there's not much other ones. I think there's a par 3 that played under par slightly and another par 4 that was like 3.99 under par for the week. So most of them played well over par, 4.7 on the par 4s. So that's going to be tough. So anyway, looking at ball striking stats, what I'm showing you now, you can see how low driving accuracy was, below 50%, and greens in regulation below 60. Greens in regulation below 60, that is difficult to say the least. That's saying that players missed fairways a lot and didn't have good angles into greens, so they were missing greens. So obviously we're down the road, we're going to be looking at around the green play, and that's important. So the important thing to know is the correct spots on the green also to plot your approach shot on these holes. These greens run fast and have lots of undulation, so keeping the ball below the hole will always give you the least amount of putts per green in regulation, and that was part of a decent stat last 2020 as well. So players that were in this tournament back in 2020 would probably have a somewhat of an advantage knowing how tough it played, how tough it'll take, what it'll take to navigate this course. But I'm tossing course history and event history. Whoever played well in 5 years ago, BMW, not on my radar. 2 years ago, BMW, don't really care. Different courses. So it might be important. No cut events. That's another thing because it's the 50 players and no cut. So players that play well without the pressure of dealing with a cut sometimes can be beneficial. So anyway, what we're going to be looking at is grinders who have the around the green chops and putter to make those 5 to 7 foot par putts. Green regulation percent is going to be important, along with all the regular ball striking stats, bogey avoidance, another stat that I don't normally put a ton into because everyone's trying to avoid bogeys. So I think double bogey avoidance also, because I think this course can give up a lot of doubles. If you're wayward off the tee, you're going to be chipping out, and then you're going to have to get up, and have to work out not making doubles. I think the least amount of doubles, like Rahm and a couple of the other top 5 players, none of them made doubles the whole week, which is very important. So I'm looking at mid single digits under par for a score here, winning score. I can't really recall any kind of tournament this season that had those results. I don't remember any tournament being under 10. Just off the top of my head, I'm not going to go looking for it. Doesn't matter to me, but I just think this is going to be the lowest scoring event all year. Driving distance, good drives will be more important. I'm throwing accuracy out the window. I know guys can hit fairways, but if the average fairways is sub 50%, then most of these guys aren't really, they're going for more distance anyway, like they did back in 2020. So sand saves, they got 91 bunkers on this golf course. That's important. Course strokes gained approach. I always do the last, I'll do the last 36 rounds on the model for Rick Run Good's website. And I'd start with that on the hole, and then I'll get into the mixed conditions underneath, and I'll do 12 and 24 rounds. Might even do 50, just a little more long-term form for all these great players. Because usually in these bigger events and smaller fields, I do like to typically go a little bit longer on the form. So that's important. Round the green, strokes gained, obviously. Like I mentioned before, these guys are going to have to scramble. So scrambling is a part of it. Scrambling, if you don't know, is basically like missing the fairway and then making your par. I'm pretty sure that's kind of how what scrambling is. You're able to get up and down from off the green. You're able to chip out from the trees and knock it stiff and make a putt, things of that nature. So what I got here, putting on fast bent greens. Obviously, par 5 birdie or better, strokes gained par 4s. I'm not going to do any buckets or anything like that, but putting on fast bent greens. So what you can do is look at putting at places like Augusta for the Masters, Muirfield Village for Memorial, Detroit Country Club for the Rocket Mortgage. That was bent grass, and it should have been fairly firm and fast. TPC River Highlands Travelers and LA Country Club for the US Open all had a form of bent type greens that ran average to fast. So if you want to cobble together that as a type of model, then do that. I'll probably check out the Holy Grail and see what kind of stats that led me to. So when looking at players, I know you guys want to talk players. So we're only going to have 50. So we're definitely going to have to do some ownership and pivots and look for different things of that nature. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at anyone that was up the leaderboard, and I'll show you a picture. This is a screenshot of the 2020, this is a 2020 leaderboard from the BMW, and I'm going to look for any of these guys that are in good form currently. Also, here's a list of the top 50 that are on the bubble. So keep an eye on these guys, because these guys, if all the ones that get in and the ones that are outside of the top 30 are going to be scrambling to try to get there. So that, it could be good or could be bad. I don't know how much stock you want to put into that, because that's where the pressure comes in. So the safer guys can play more free. You never really know. But here also, I'm going to show you another one of this week's top 15 through 3 rounds and their DraftKings price. So you can see there's a wide range of pricing, and what you're missing is anybody over 10K in the top 15. But a couple guys. I mean, Rory's in there, and Scheffler, and there's a couple other guys that are probably in the mix somewhere, but not like pushing to the lead. I don't think anybody 5 digits is going to win this golf tournament. So I'll put it to you that way. So anyway, you would start with Rahm, you would think, but he's really going to be a tough call. considering that he was all over the yard off the tee this week. Through 3 rounds, he was losing 3 strokes off the tee. He was double crossing it left. He was blocking it right. He just still hasn't been able to figure it out. And he is one of the most accurate for the guy, longest / accuracy with that short, compact swing. He just usually hits that power fade so accurately. It was really stunning to see him come out and have this much trouble. The rest of the game looked all right. The short game, he was +3, I think, in the short game as far as around the green and putting are concerned. But he is starting to fall off. I think he's starting to get a little worn down on this driver because he was about a half a stroke above average for approach. Now he's over a half a stroke behind average, but -6.4, I think, going into today. So I do believe that spraying the ball off the tee is finally catching up with him with the approach. So he's going to have to get all that locked down before we come up to next Thursday. Well, he does have all day today. He didn't really look, from what I saw, like he was really making any kind of progress. I think he's just ready to just call it a day and get a good night's sleep, get refreshed, and come back stronger Monday and Tuesday and get up to Illinois. I think if he does get the driver under control, he's going to be fine because, like I said, the rest of the game was looking good. Another guy was Hideki Matsuyama. He was in the mix very late in this tournament and just missed a playoff. He was really close. And he's been going pretty well recently. He's got middling results here at St. Jude. I think he's sitting right around 30th in placing. And he's actually on the outside as I'm watching it right now. He's 57th. So he's outside of the top 50. Wow, I did not know that. So that's interesting. So he's going to have to get on the stick here and get a birdie or two coming home. And he's only got 3 holes left to play. So Hideki Matsuyama might not be joining us in Illinois, just FYI. So anyway, I would like him better on these grinder courses. I played quite a bit of Decky in 2020 on this course, and he came through for me. A guy like Brendan Todd, who finished T8 in this, would be a fit, but he seemed to be struggling a bit at St. Jude as well, with the flat stick especially, and the high percentage of fairways. You know, if he's not hitting every single fairway, which the accuracy is already down to begin with, he's not going to have a great week. So another guy, Benny On, I think I see doing well. He's kind of playing his career best golf right now. He finished pretty solid in 2020, back when he was a weekly competitor on the tour, and he putts better on bent, usually on faster bent, and he's got a hell of a lot more confidence in that putter now than he did back then. That's for sure. And plus, he hammers it off the tee. I mean, he's like legit long. I mean, he's not Rory long, but he's long. He's like 320 off the tee on average. So, also, speaking of Rory, it could be a McIlroy special, best driver in the field. He's been really, really cranking it around St. Jude all week, hitting fairways and going long. But he just can't seem to get out of his own way. He's 10 under, 7th place right now. He's fine. Obviously, he's going to be in the top 5 going into next week. But he'll make a great 17-foot birdie putt, and then he'll spray one off the tee on the next hole like he did yesterday, coming off a great birdie, and then he'll screw the pooch and make a bogey. So he just doesn't seem to handle that extreme success right now, but maybe he'll get it together. I think he'll be really, really good next week, be honest with you, because I think most of his game is going pretty well right now, and he's obviously got a good sand game, and he's a great around the green touch player. So I'm digging that. But anyway, running down this board, the 2020 leaderboard, Mac Hughes is there, and he's been up and down. I kind of actually was in between him and Sam Ryder for my 6K guy down low this week. I went Sam Ryder over Mac Hughes. It seems to be working now, but I don't know. The other call I had to make was up there a little further was I had Corey Connors in there all day. And then I decided to pivot all those over to Benny On. And that was going okay last I checked, although Connor shot 65 yesterday, and I was like, well, shit, here we go. So I haven't been 100% wrong yet. So anyway, Cam Davis, another one that putts better on bent grass without any water trouble. I think there's 3 holes with water in play on this golf course. So I think Cam, and another one that just mashes it off the tee, crushes par fives. I think he can definitely, and he's playing some of his best golf. If you remember a few months back, he had some kind of illness that was keeping him down for the first couple of months of the season, but he's really come a long way in like the last month. So a guy that's in recent form that finished well here, I like. Other dudes like Hostler, Bo Hostler, Adam Shank, Ben Griffin, all could play well next week. It's going to be a true test of these guys, these young dudes' games, because they're used to this aggressive Corn Ferry stuff, birdies and going low. They're going to have to play within themselves at this course. And so it should be a blast. So that'll do it for the picks and preview show. I probably will switch over. I went Rahm over Rory, which disappoints me in myself this week, because I was saying that Rahm was more like a dude that can finish T50 in a golf tournament, but at least Rory's going to be up there in the top 10 if he's not getting it done. So I'm going to follow my own advice and just eat the chalk over to Rory, most likely. Scotty, I still can't call it on Scotty. That putter has been god awful. I mean, it was worse yesterday than the day before. So he's got all week to figure that. Maybe the change in surface will do him some good. I don't know, but he's been putting poorly on bent grass surfaces all year long anyway. So I'm not really sure about that. But you got guys like Fleetwood, Taylor Moore playing really well. He's going to be there next week. Max Homa. This seems like the type of course Max Homa could set up good for. Tom the Tank. Tom Kim. Griot. Griot's a bent grass guy too. So there's going to be tons of guys to look at. Sung Jae back in good form again. Jordan Spieth scrambling. Nobody scrambles and luck boxes out like Jordan Spieth does. I think he strokes gained luck box. He's +5 on the field this week. So until the next video, which will be DraftKings coming out on Tuesday, we'll see you soon, and I appreciate you watching.